and I've been asking a lot of guests that have been coming on this podcast the same one. Who do you want the Detroit Pistons to draft next week?
It's interesting because at the start of the season, my guy was Cody Williams, right? And that was with me watching like minimal stuff. I was just like, okay, 6'8" wing, 7'1" wingspan. Like that's a layup, right? And his brother's already good. That's a layup. And then I was like, oh, I talked to like a lot of my friends who are really good draft experts, like some scouts. And they're like, I don't know how I like Cody Williams, 2 attempts per game. That's not really good volume. Doesn't really show that he's really a great shooter, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I kind of waned off on Cody Williams. I think right now I'm at the point where I do believe in Cody Williams as a prospect. And I definitely think he's someone who could be a Jeremy Grant archetype. And I think if there is a probable pick for the Pistons, I would say it's Cody Williams. But for the sake of being different, I'm going to go and say Tristan D Silva. Tristan D Silva is someone who will not go 5. But if the Pistons, let's say, trade back to like 12, I really like Tristan D Silva for this team. He is a 3 or 4. He gives you a lot of what maybe someone like Simone Fontecchio gives you, but also he's 23, which is, I guess, older for a rookie, but I'm not scared of that as someone who, if I were the one making a pick, I wouldn't be scared by that because I think he's shown improvement each year he's played. And I think there's a lot to tap into with his skill set. We're sure he might not be an all-star, but I think he's someone who could maybe end up being a fringe all-star. I see him get compared. I've seen him get compared to Franz Wagner a couple of times. And I definitely can see that comparison. So I think for the sake of being different, I'll go with Tristan D Silva. I think his shooting upside is there. And I like him overall as a prospect. I like his size, and I like his overall feel for the game.
So I go back and forth every day. If they keep 5, this might get boos in the chat. This is my feeling today. Ron Holland. And I know it doesn't make sense. I know people they want Pizelis, they want Connect, they want Cody. I think out of him and Tyler Smith in the G League Ignite, I think those are the 2 guys that I see taking progressions in development. I think Modest is going to have to gain a little bit of weight, in my personal opinion, from watching a lot of him this season. To get better, it might take him maybe a year or 2 to really figure it out. I think Ron Holland defensively with the SAR would just be nasty, man. It would be filthy.
Agreed. I think Ron Holland's someone who's gotten a lot of unfair criticism thrown his way, and I think a lot of people have not really taken enough stock into Ron Holland because he's someone who was seen as the number 1 prospect in this draft, and to this day, a lot of people whose draft opinions I really respect, who do nothing but analyze NBA draft prospects, etc., still have Ron Holland as their number 1 guy in this class. And I think that's for a reason. His tools are ridiculous. He's an insane athlete, a really great defender. He gives you maybe, yes, a lot of what Asar gives you, but he also showed a lot more offensive production than Asar did at OTE in the G League. I know his shooting splits may not have been that great, but you just got to buy on the potential with Ron Holland. So I would not fault any team that picked Ron Holland at any point in the draft. And I also have one more name for you. And this is also not a name they would pick at 5 or maybe even in like the mid-teens. Ryan Dunn is one of my favorite prospects in this draft. And if anyone is familiar, maybe, they'll get some boos in the chat or in the comment section. Because yes, Ryan Dunn, not a finished prospect, right? Like he's not a finished project. He is primarily a defensive demon, the same way Keon Ellis is, right? And I don't know if you can tell, but you can kind of see what I value when it comes to building a basketball team. And I really think getting someone like Ryan Dunn with Fred Vinson, the best shooting coach in the NBA, would do wonders. Like if you want to talk about the Herb Jones trajectory, take a look at Ryan Dunn and go, I don't know, at 21, trade, I don't know, your 54th pick, couple seconds to go get a Ryan Dunn. And I almost guarantee you'll see results by the end of the season just because his defensive feel is ridiculous and his athleticism matches. So if you can just get him to have a perimeter shot, you have a very, very, very solid role player in the league and one of the best perimeter defenders in the association.
Yeah, he's the guy that I think a lot of people got put on because Sam Vecini was talking about him on his podcast. I watched, I want to say at least just a highlight reel because I saw his name in passing. And I see what you see with the Keon Ellis and the Ryan Dunn. I see the archetype that you're going for. And to your point, I think maybe the Pistons could gamble given they have Fred Vinson, trusting in his ability to develop guys that aren't known as shooters coming out of college, but you mentioned, like Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy was kind of a pretty good shooter.
Yeah, Trey Murphy has shown improvement on the other side of the ball, but yeah.
You get what I'm saying. I don't know why I said Trey Murphy. I was thinking of Herb Jones.
Herb Jones, yeah.
But definitely, I think I see where you're going. I like those picks. If they were to trade down, though, I have my eye on two guys, and they both play in the front court. Khalil Ware out of Indiana, I think makes a whole lot of sense if you want to stretch big, and Deron Holmes out of Dayton. Deron Holmes is just I would not be surprised if he goes like the Sacramento. He's just a monster, man.
He's someone who I think fans on draft night will be surprised where he goes because I think he could go as high as 12. And I think his skill set is invaluable. And I think he's someone who in a couple of years we could go, well, why did he go at the draft pick where he went, right? I think he can end up being one of those types of players where maybe, yeah, he might not be an all-star, but he's going to be really, really valuable for some really good teams.
Yeah, obviously, like if I know we're kind of like going in all different places. Like if Reed Shepherd's at 5, I'm probably taking him. If Ricochet's at 5, I'm probably taking him. Who knows what happens with Klingon? Sounds like the Hawks might just trade down and the Spurs go to 1. The Spurs get Sarr and Wibby together. I'll probably scream.